A very good day to talk football. Thanks for joining us on the show. I'm Yemi Adebayo from Lagos.
Reaching you live from London. I'm Austin Okonakwan. Good to have you join us on the show.
All right. Well, it has happened. A moment a lot of us thought was not going to happen. I particularly was recklessly optimistic, but it has happened, and football teaches you lessons every day. Even as we speak, a game currently going on in the UEFA Nations League, Belgium leading France. But of course, today will be centered on what happened at the Teslim Balogun Stadium, record-breaking victory from the Central African Republic defeating the Super Eagles of Nigeria. If you didn't watch that game, you could be forgiven if you thought we're lying. But of course, we're not.
Yeah, I mean, what a night. Sensational night of football for Central African Republic. Wonderful night for the visitors right there in Lagos. Yeah, I mean, today we watched David beat Goliath again. The Iroko fell. What a story. Arguably the biggest and most important win in the history of Central African football history. And look, we were both optimistic the last time we did the show. I concluded the show saying that I know football can stun you, but that you expect the Super Eagles of Nigeria to beat Central African Republic. You think you know football?
you think. Well, a lot to unpack on the show tonight, and we're going to do our best as professionals not to be emotional in our analysis because there's always the temptation when things like this happen, you want to throw the baby with the bathwater. We'll try to see if there are some positives. We'll try to see where we got it wrong. Is it a reflection of what is currently going on? Was it just a one-off? Is it a bad day in the office? Or has the signs been there all along? I mean, a lot of these things we're going to try to unpack as we go on the show, Austin.
I know we will take a look at that Super Eagles table, the Group C table. And yeah, I mean, look, it was upset day. Liberia, they were leading 1-0 at home against Cape Verde. Cape Verde came back to win 2-1. And I thought that since we had seen that game, and because we've always been wondering if there are still minnows in African football, that the Super Eagles will come out and play good football. Was it a problem of tactics? Was it a problem of game plan? Was it that the technical crew didn't give this game the sort of importance that they should give it? It's difficult to analyze this sort of game. We had lined up about 4 ex-internationals before this game who were going to come speak on this show. Nobody is taking my call anymore, Yemi. But I understand because it is very difficult, very difficult. The last guy called me and said if it's radio, he would talk, but I can't imagine his face on TV talking about this. And so, look, it just takes you to a place where you don't want to be if you support football in Nigeria. But for pundits, like you and I, there are lessons in it. I've been the guy saying the moment you think about football, it stuns you. Today's a testament of it. The Super Eagles, with a couple of chances or so, Kelechi Iheanacho with that descent was trying to call it in, and in that process, hurt himself and was taken off. A very difficult day for Victor Osimhen. We thought this one was going to go in. Came off the woodwork, fell on Taiwo Awoniyi, who is making his debut, and then it was deflected for a corner. The Super Eagles had their moments, but it was just written. It was destiny that Cape Verde will win today. And they did, I mean.
They did. As a matter of fact, even before the goal, the best chance, as you can see, the best chance in the game went to Cape Verde. Also, we're not going to do this alone on the show tonight. We have Bolu Omoni with us as we take a look at all of those things. And let me quickly introduce Bolu Omoni and we get back to the clips to look at everything that's happening. Greetings to you, Bolu. Greetings to you, Bolu. It's good to have you here in the studio with us. What a day. What a day.
Austin was talking about the ex-internationals who, one way or the other, intentionally or not, missed the show. I was thinking to myself, okay, let both of them just continue without mentioning Bolu. I think I would rather enjoy from the side. But again, not a good day to be a Nigerian supporter. Let me put it this way. A senior journalist called me, okay, Bolu, I missed the game. And, how many did we score? And I was like, no, we lost 1-0. You know, when you hear his shock was shocked. Now, who did we play again? Central African Republic. It shows everyone's expectations. Like we'll be saying, no disrespect to them, but we expect to win games like this. But again, what happened? Football happened. It's the team that scores that when I tell people, no better way to play football. The only way to play is to score. Tiki-taka, parking the train, park whatever. If you don't score, you don't win. And that's exactly what happened today.
All right. We need to go back to the clips. And, of course, we are all going to be involved in the conversation. Austin and I and Bolu. If we're able to get anyone in, fine. If we don't, well, we'll continue. We have a job on our hands. I, for one, think that our defense let us down. There's nobody in the team today that particularly covered himself in glory. You could mention one or two people that were a bit passionate. But it's just, these guys knew what they wanted to do. They executed the game plan. They made us work, and I'm lost for words. And the goal, I mean, that's the high point, because the game would have ended in a draw. The best central defenders that we have, chasing the same ball. I mean, some of the things you see your primary school kids do and you flog them. Went for the same ball, miscommunication, and the player was, and even for me, before the goal, this was the best chance in the game, and it came to Central African Republic. And so Bolu, and let's keep talking while we get to see that goal I'm talking about. There's no way to sugarcoat this. A very bad performance.
That ball, you call the best chance for them. I thought that was a goal. I didn't expect Uzor to make that save. I felt the way the guy was balanced, this was probably going to be the breaking the deadlock in the game. Uzor made a good save, a De Gea kind of save with his leg. Then we had, I won't be surprised if the possession was about 90-10, but nobody cares about that. You failed to take your chances.
This is the moment I was talking about.
If this was Awaziem and Onyekuru,
guys have been playing together for 5 years.
Or maybe Ugelumba, who is probably, if it was Golumba making his debut with Akpoguma, I was thinking, okay, maybe they don't know each other yet, communication and all.
Don't do
what happens to both guys? I'm seeing people saying only Leon Balogun. I think both of them's communication was terrible. And it was more like a gift. And we were now praying, oh, let him miss this time. No, he was not going to miss. He did his assignment, he did his job, he got the goal. From the get-go, I've read lots of comments from journalists, from fans, especially halftime. People were like, if you didn't watch halftime, don't worry, you didn't miss anything. There was really nothing to miss except the Osimhen's ball and everything. The second half, maybe the stage was too big for Awoni, or the fact that he was making his debut. He had maybe 1 or 2 chances as well. The hunger was not there for most of these guys. I saw Frank Onyeka in defensive midfield, but I said to myself, you brought in Bonke to replace Ndidi. You had Shehu Abdullahi, who plays as a central defensive midfielder mostly for his club, on the bench. Then you play the central midfielder. Yes, we didn't score due to his positioning, but maybe it could have been better. Maybe it could have covered more. These are things you need to look out for. What was the Ross plan? One of the biggest things I think I like Ross for this game for was benching Okoye for coming late to training. It's becoming a norm. Every time we are playing anything, you see one. I tell people, coming Monday night, you are late. If the camp is opening Monday morning or Monday, you should be there by afternoon, not coming 2 days later, giving an excuse. So I like that decision, bold step. Let him sit down. I've had issues with calling him publicly as first choice initially. But yes, we made the bold call. But what happened on it? The hunger was not there. You just saw that, okay, just send in the ball. What was our game plan again today? Send in the long balls, and we have probably the tallest player, if not one of the tallest players in football presently, sitting conveniently on the bench. Why were we crossing the ball?
Too many questions. Austin, you saw that goal. I don't know what to say. I'm speechless. I mean, some of us, do try to coach with our mouth sometimes, and even though I know that we're just analysts, we don't play football, but we've seen enough football to know that experienced defenders like Leon Balogun and Troost Ekong should not, emphasis on should not, be making that kind of mistake.
Yeah, I mean, at that time of the match, it was already a spiritual moment, That's the stage where everyone is chasing that goal, and they never expected that long ball would come. and then they will be cut out of their line. You know, at that time that Central African Republic got that goal, it is either a stroke of luck or someone must make a mistake. By the way, they had a clear chance to score here, all thanks to Francis Uzor. You know, that was a clear shot at goal that Uzor saved. So you could tell that they had more purpose. They were strategic. They had an execution plan. That's it right there, you know. And you could tell that Leon had tried to, you know, take out the ball with his head, but it was too low. So he hit the body of the striker and then bounced on him and he finished. And that's why I called it a spiritual moment where anything can just go wrong, you know. And it went wrong for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. You see, he tried to defend it, you know, properly, but everybody was chasing the ball. It was a long ball, everyone was chasing it because the entire team had gone out in search of that goal, and it happened the way it happened, you know. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Like, there's still a lot of work to be done. And you can tell that whenever we play, the Super Eagles of Nigeria play, and 2 or 3 persons that are key to the team are missing, they struggle. And that's where we have a problem. That's where Coach Gernot Raw and his technical crew need to be given some stroke of the cane, because they've stayed there for quite some time. They should know this team. Look, this isn't the time for Nigeria to be going through this sort of thing, you know. We're still trying to heal with what happened against Sierra Leone when we were winning 4-0, 4-1, and then they came back 4-4. And then this has happened in Lagos. Bolu, I don't know where to put this, but sometimes when you look at this sort of defeat, is there any way you want to pardon the technical crew?
Well, you needed to see the reaction of Lagos fans. Immediately, they just switched, they started hailing the Central Carrians and started booing the Super Eagles fans. It shows they know what this means. They know what defeat means. Yes, they are still top of the table. A win in this game and a win in the next game against them on Sunday would have taken Nigeria through to the next round. Then there will be more than enough time to make 1 or 2 changes. Yes, can they be forgiven? Yeah, we have no choice. They are still what we have now. But the question is, are they ready to learn? Wilfred is literally the only player we missed in this game. Now Alex Iwobi, for whatever reason, I read Renero lamenting about Etebo. You don't play Etebo. Etebo sits on the bench. So leave Etebo out of it. Only 2 players missing here in Ndidi and Iwobi. Then the team crumbled. We couldn't create. And interestingly, I think myself and Yema have discussed off air. Ndidi's movement off the ball is the best in that squad. Moving left to right, commanding, controlling. That's probably one of the things they missed in this game. Iwobi is not the best supplier, he's not the best creative player, but in that squad, his impact is always there. You see him taking shots, creating passes, we miss that. I thought Iheanacho would probably be the one to give us the creative edge we need. The interesting thing, we didn't need Ahmed Musa in this game today, for example, but we needed Musa to play today and play on Sunday to get the 100 caps. No, the team is beyond that. We need to do things the way it is. All our balls in the second half were long balls. Then bring in the best, the tallest man on the field. Sometimes I tell people anyone can set up a team. Anybody can set 11. But your in-game decisions are the things that separate the best from the rest. And again, like many other times, General missed it in this one. We can't forgive. You have no choice. But definitely, some persons are already writing his letter. If he fails to win again in Cameroon on Sunday, probably signature will be written. Come the next phase, if they fail to qualify, maybe that's when they will do all the signings for him and tell him to go.
Okay, you guys talked about the table, so let's just quickly take a look at the table. A lot of us were already saying 6 points, but now it's the best we can get is 3 points. But let's see, Group C, and Austin pointed out the away teams in Group C today won. And you would have thought that since Cape Verde beat Liberia, we would have learned our lessons, but unfortunately, we didn't. So let's just see situation report. That's what you have in Group C. Nigeria still on top, 6 points. But the group has been thrown wide open. And I never imagined that in a group that has Cape Verde, Central African Republic, and Liberia, I would have to do calculations, permutations, and go back to my calculator. I thought we have thrown away the calculator, but here we are. Here we are. We must win on Sunday. I can't even imagine what will happen if we don't win on Sunday.
That's a must win. Okay, let's say we lose on Sunday, we remain on 6. CL goes to, they go to 7 points.
We are half.
Liberia, whatever, go to either 7 or so.
Even the draw is disastrous on Sunday.
It's a must win because if we fail to win that game in Cameroon on Sunday, it means we start thinking of most for the other games. And those other teams that Liberia and Cape Verde will know, a win against Nigeria can also take us through to the final stage. So Sunday's game is not a doubt. It's not up for questioning. To a level, I think I don't mind Rom taking strict to his squad because there's no excuse if we fail to win against Cape Verde, there's trouble because against the Central African Republic, if we draw that game, we'll be on 7 points. If either Liberia or Cape Verde win that game, they have a chance of going above Nigeria. It means now we start thinking, oh, we need to win the second leg. We need to draw. No, I think we should have gone.
Needing favors.
I tell people, if you think Nigerians don't know math, wait till we get to final games in qualifiers or tournaments. That's when you know we know how to do calculations and all. We shouldn't get to that stage now. We still have what it is. I think this is another wake-up call. Probably they've forgotten about what happened against Sierra Leone. I listened to Patrick Pascal, I think the organizer of the Super Eagles. He said there's cohesion. The team know what to do. Unfortunately, they didn't do it. I'm sure now, more than ever before, they know now. Even if Genero puts up 12 strikers without meters or defenders on Sunday, they know they must win. Nobody cares about... One thing Pinnick will say to them all the time, Nigerians don't care how you play. Yes, we want to see football. You hear media guys, journalists say, let's know how we play. But the truth is, we want results. Irrespective of how you get it, come Sunday, just win the game against CR, then maybe we can forget what happened at the Testing Balogun Stadium.
And also, just to say this, I know you have one or two things to add to what Bolu has said. At the point it was 90 minutes, I was saying, for all the passes, for all the things that I saw today, I would have preferred all the scrappy football we've played in times past and just one goal. It would have been better. But to have all of that possession and not be able to break down Central African Republic. I'm very happy this is happening. What if it was Ghana? What if it was a game that once you lose, you are out? Because I can't imagine you do this against Egypt, Tunisia, Algeria. And we are going to meet those guys. We will meet those guys if we cross this hurdle. So if we have a team that packs the ball, it doesn't mean we're not going to win.
So, yeah, I mean, this has been the problem, you know, and each time we try to talk about it because we get the results, everybody just, you know, sweeps it aside. We saw it against Lesotho. We saw it against Cape Verde in Lagos. Cape Verde gave us bonanza when we went to their place because you can check the literally scored the 3 goals. So it's a reminder there's still a lot of work to be done, but because we're getting the goals, everybody just, oh, it's okay, and they are winning. No. If you check the Central African Republic team today, Yemi, they had a plan. Catch Nigeria on the counter, see how they can outrun us, and then just get that moment that they want. And each time they had that moment, Yemi, first they scored a goal in first half, but because of the shove on our defender, it was cancelled. But that was the intent. They were showing that they can go forward and do something. Then it was all saved. Then the goal. You could tell every time they were going forward, they were being purposeful with the ball. We saw the Super Eagles struggle. Try to play from the wings, it wasn't working. Try to play the midfield. We had worries about this midfield. Only Coach Genero and his team, they have worries about the midfield. And we keep saying it. It is not as if these guys aren't professional, but club football is a national team football. And Frank Oyeka had a taste of it today. So I was always saying that when you bring these guys together, particularly at this level, there must be a level of understanding because they are going to a crucial stage. And you just mentioned some countries that when we get to that stage, they are not smiling. Everybody wants to pick ticket to the World Cup. So it just goes to show that there's still a lot of work. Whether we win on Sunday or not, there's still so much work to be done. Coach Genero and his team, they need to sit down and ask themselves questions. Do they really want this job? Because it goes beyond criticism now. The danger lights are already blinking. So something needs to be done.
All right. We need to go on a break right about now. When we return from that break, we'll still be on the matter, talking about the Super Eagles and what's going on in the UEFA Nations League. I mean, one of the hardest things to do this moment is to keep watching that game, seeing the replay, seeing that goal, leaves a bitter taste in your mouth. And a lot of questions will be asked about Coach Genero. Some people have already made up their minds about him, and a lot of interesting things. And Bolu, quickly, you off camera, you pointed out some things. and I'm very sure Austin would hint at that as well. You looked at the bench, the things we could have used to change the game, and what was your observation?
Well, remember for a long time, since even before the AFCON, we're always talking about Raw inviting only 3 midfielders. One of the reasons why Etebo and they were tired at the AFCON, they were the only ones. Now looking at the bench, the only forward-moving player on the bench was nobody, minus the guys that came on. Other guys are either defenders. No, they're all defenders minus the 2 goalkeepers. And Innocent Monkey is a defensive midfielder. So on the bench, we have Okoye, Awazi, Makpeyi, Sheo Abdullahi, Akpoguma, Kenneth Omeru, and Calvin Ogeluma. Then you ask yourself, you played only 3 midfielders. What happens if one of them gets injured or something? Who is replaced? It means Raw and his scouting team are not doing well enough to get midfielder. You cannot be calling up squad every time and we see 9 defenders and only 3 midfielders. Initially, they were actually like we don't know. Now they added Iwobi and Iheanacho, like we don't know their forward players. We need to do much more. Then look at the goals. We can't talk about this goal enough because personally, I believe Trustekon was chasing from behind. It feels like Leon Balogun was coming on. Trustekon probably could have done better, go behind, maybe cross the goalkeeper.
Don't chase together.
In case if he decides to round Uzoho, someone is standing in the post. Poor header from Leon Balogun. I think both of them, like Austin said, they need a stick. Why? Because they are the best experienced players we have. But again, let's assume one player gets injured on the field. Who plays? A goalkeeper or a defender? We don't need 9 defenders in any tournament. You need 2 per position, and that's 8 maximum. Now you have 5 or 6 central defenders to come and do what? And this is what we are paying for. Now we need creativity. Now there are players everywhere. Nobody's coming up. You are not. It can't be so bad that we don't have midfielders in the world of football. There are definitely players everywhere. So I think it's more of a wake-up call for General. Those he are sent or assigned to look into the NPFL where it says, look out for midfielders that you believe are good enough for Super Eagles. For those that are scouting for you abroad, there are players everywhere. For example, this young boy, Adeyemi, that plays for Salzburg. He has made his debut for Germany, so we can get. There are some players that are doing so well for themselves. So why are we not scouting those ones? Why are we looking out for the ones that are probably below them? No, we have what it takes to get the best players. But for this one, unfortunately, this is still the same thing we are going up with against CR. And this win does one thing for CR: more confidence. They will believe you are coming to our home away from home. If we defeated you in your house, the first loss in Lagos and God knows how long, we can do the same thing at home.
Okay, all right. Let's look on the bright side, if there's any bright side. Austin, some people pointed out that en route to the last Nations Cup, South Africa came here, defeated us, and we tightened our belt, buckled up, and we finished well, went to the Nations Cup, did well. As a matter of fact, that day was my brother's wedding, and they ruined it for me. But that's a story for another day. But this has happened. I'm very happy he's not in the knockout phase. And it looks like we will still top this group. But looking on the bright side, are you happy, as some people are, that it happened now?
So it's just very difficult to talk, about this, It's Central African Republic, that's what makes it so difficult. Like, an ex-international just called me, and then he said he didn't even bother to watch the match because, according to him, back in the day, when Nigeria is playing this country, we just asked for the results, and we were told 5-0, 6-1, or, it's just a straightforward victory, So it just puts hands on the cheek, asks questions. And as I said, it isn't new to us. We were just looking it because we were scoring goals and we were getting the results. So nobody gets to look at, everything that is involved in playing a football match the right way. Where you've got style, the execution plan, there's good strategy, there's coaching tactical ability, there is depth, there is knowledge of the game, there's understanding of how to turn things around when things are going wrong, which we've not seen with Coach Gernot Rohr and his team, because I'm the presenter also. So let me go to Bolu, because before we start talking about, because we may have our favorite, Bolu, what was wrong with that starting 11 that Coach Gernot Rohr, started today?
Well, let's do it like this. First of all, I've been asking this question for a very, very long time. What is Iheanacho's best position? Many say he's a striker. I don't think Iheanacho is a striker. Many say he's a winger. I don't think he's a winger. I think from what we saw at the under 17 and the glimpse we saw in Leicester last season, I think he either plays alongside with the striker or just behind him. If you notice, there's a bit of synergy between Iheanacho and Iwobi. Iheanacho and Osimhen when they play side by side, with Iheanacho just a step behind him. But Raw is not playing 4-4-2. Then why do you have to play both of them together? I think Raw likes a 4-3-3 formation, irrespective. He prefers a 4-3-3. Then do we have wingers who can play well, cut in and shoot? We don't. Do we have wingers who can cross in? No, we don't. I think it's time to switch tactics. Then Frank Onyeka is not a defensive midfielder. Frank Onyeka is a central midfielder who likes to go forward. There's a defensive midfielder on the bench in Innocent Bonking. Many were excited that despite all the sticks he got in the last match against Cape Verde, at least he's back into the team. Unfortunately, he didn't get to play. Defensive, I think that's probably the best we can get in the defense. But midfield going forward, they did not get into the game. Joe Aribo has not woken up for himself for a very, very long time. Since the friendly games we have played, the hard glimpses, got goals, he's not really lived up to the billing for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. I think it's time we probably let him sit down. So probably when he sits on the bench in 1 or 2 games, he would wake up. The lineup, irrespective of who plays, should be. I believe they are still good enough to have won that game. If you have created more chances, why do I keep calling Iwobi? If Awoni had probably taken the 1 or 2 chances he had, if Osimhen had done better, the ball that hit the hook, like they tell in football, find margins. But I still think they were more dangerous in their chances. The only thing they needed was, it reminds me of Real Madrid versus Sheriff at the Bernabeu. They just sat back. Don't worry, keep passing, keep crossing. We just need 1 or 2 breaks. And the most dangerous attempt in that game went to Central African Republic. The first one for the Uzor save and the second for the goal. Could we have done better? Yes. We could have created more chances. We could have defended better. We could have taken our chances in a better way than what we did. I think it's a wake-up call. Is there light at the end of the tunnel? A huge light. Now they know. If you see Ross' expression, one thing Nigerian media know how to do is just lose. We are waiting for you. So he knows, even with his expression, every Nigerian is a coach. Everyone will say, you should have played this one, you could have played Bolu, Yemi would have done better. Austin would. Now I believe he understands what's at stake now because he cannot lose the next match. We cannot lose the next match. Let's put it that way. So I believe everyone knows what to do, but the big question is, will they do what is needful? Will they do what is necessary? Because we are not taking anything less than a win. All those win 10-0, me, I don't care. Just win in Cameroon come Sunday. By this time on Sunday, if we have won, we have no problem. We will start talking about, then we can now think of, which tactics is going to do that worked out well. But if he fails to win, Sports Tonight, we'll be waiting for you.
I know. So, it's in the hands of everyone that is involved with football in Nigeria. If Amaju needs to lace his boots, Shehu Diko, Sheyaki Wumi, and get it to that pitch in Douala on Sunday, they will get, because it must be a win or a win for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Otherwise, it's going to be very. It's all about the Qatar 2022 FIFA World Cup qualifier. Let's take a look at some of the results. It wasn't just the Super Eagles of Nigeria that was busy today. We told you even in that Group C encounter between Cape Verde and Liberia. It was also dramatic. Yes, that's it. Fist in the air for Central African Republic and that win that they got right there in Lagos. But also Cape Verde came from behind to beat Liberia today. Also, beat Equatorial Guinea 2, Zambia 0. Talking about the 2022 FIFA World Cup qualifier. A lot of games going down. Rwanda lost at home to Uganda by a single goal. Mali and Kenya played a goalless draw. That's in Group E. In Group J, DR Congo 2, Madagascar 0. The Benin Republic went to Tanzania to get a crucial 1-0 win. So you see, football in Africa is indeed changing. No small teams anymore. And then when you least expect, you're being stunned. So I always ask, if you think you know football, that you're wrong. So some of the results from the 2022 FIFA World Cup qualifiers. Yemi, any more things to add before we move on from this discussion?
Let's just move on. We can spend the next 5 hours talking about this game. So let's just move on. There will be enough time to do a post-mortem, but let's move on. And no better way, no better story to go to than what's happening in your hand. Newcastle, and now they've crossed the line, new owners in. And Mike Ashley
Money
is,
Club.
yeah, his 14-year controversial reign comes to an end.
I know, and the fans are rejoicing. They're singing. They believe it's a big turnaround. When we saw this with Manchester City, there were no doubts that it was going to turn around the club, and yes, it has, because to an extent, it showed that when you put money into the mix, you start getting results. So Newcastle now can beat their chairs. The fans are optimistic that they can become, one of the top 6 clubs in England. Mike Ashley, on the other hand, will be biting his fingers, but it is what it is. And Bolu, if you take a look at Newcastle and the wait for this Saudi consortium to take over, maybe this might just be the turnaround that they really need.
I don't even think they're going for top 6. I think it has to be tougher. From the angle I'm sitting, I think someone between Liverpool and United should be ready to vacate that spot, because City has one already. I think Chelsea has a billionaire. If they mistakenly miss one season, Abramovich will spend everything he has to get them back to top 4. So they have one. So I think one slot will have to go. Either Liverpool or Man United. Both of you fans, don't worry. You may have time to come back later, but I think one of them will vacate that spot. That's probably their goal. The Man City billionaires are billionaires in 2 figures. These guys are billionaires in 3 figures. I think if they combine the money of the owners, it's probably bigger than all the other top 5 clubs in Europe combined. I'm talking of excess of £300 billion. The money is there, but how well would they spend is the most important thing. Malaga had a billionaire, they got relegated. AC Milan had some Chinese billionaire, they were wrecked until they had to start getting them. So it's first off, who is the manager they will decide to, because I don't think Steve Bruce will stay there next season. If he ends this season, I think it will be the exit door. There's a Conte on the side, there's a Zidane on the side. Will they decide to go for any of them? But I believe they will change managers, and they need to start making statement signings. We know Kylian Mbappe has said he's Real Madrid or nothing. But there's a certain Haaland who has Mino Raiola, who likes his money. So they have to find ways to deal very well. Now Newcastle fans are hopeful that we will get back to what we used to be. The money is there, but are they going to spend it right? Because if you think you can just pack everyone into your scheme, you definitely have problems. So let's wait and see what happens in the next 2-3 years. Maybe Newcastle could be the next Manchester City in the Premier League.
We'll get to see, but I agree with you. Proper management is required. And when this sort of takeovers happen, some people might be asking questions, others won't be, on the side of the game. But hey, fans of Newcastle, the supporters, they don't care, Yemi. They're pretty excited with this takeover. Let's listen.
Because, the record, as far as we understand it, in Saudi Arabia is not good. I think it's vastly unfair to put that on your average football fan who just wants their club to do really well. If this money's being allowed to come into the Premier League, that's the Premier League's issue. If they're going to allow unscrupulous actors like that into the league, that's on them. It doesn't come down to a Newcastle United fan or a Man City fan or a Liverpool fan, like however it may pan out. It's a really tricky question, and as a trust, I'm here representing the Newcastle United Supporters Trust. We condemn discrimination in all forms, and we work with the United as One campaign and many other inclusive campaigns. We personally, obviously, think human rights abuses are abhorrent. On a wider scale, I don't think it should fall to the average football fan to sort of start educating themselves and condemning nation states.
So that's the supporters of Newcastle welcoming the takeover by the Saudi consortium. And Yemi, I agree with Bolu that these things can actually bring some major changes. Just trying to imagine Newcastle beat Manchester United, beat Man City, beat Chelsea, beat Arsenal. Newcastle, that's what money can do.
Yeah, that's what money can do. We'll have to keep our fingers crossed, though. Wait to see. The project at City took a while before it got on, and some changes here and there. But we'll have to see what's going to happen. But exciting times ahead.
But Yemi, before you go, Yemi, I know you want to quickly leave this. Before you go, now that Newcastle, they have money, and we're talking about the top 4, top 6. Where does this leave your club as now?
Okay, you have to bring that up. I actually don't know. I have to be honest. I don't know. even without Newcastle, they're out of the top 6. With Newcastle, I don't know. Maybe in the second half, who knows? But we'll see. We'll see. Time will tell. All right.
There's going to be trouble. Oh. There will be serious trouble.
I know.
There's only one United. It's Newcastle United.
All right. Okay, guys. Let's move on to a story that got us talking, caught us by surprise. Just when we were expecting big things at the Tokyo Olympics, we got the news of what happened to Blessing Okagbare, and now the Athletics Integrity Unit is bringing 3 charges against Blessing Okagbare in relation to disciplinary matters. And, of course, they are alleging that she was suspended for having growth hormone in her system on the day of the 100-meter semi-finals. She's also been accused of testing positive for EPO in a sample collected out of competition in June in Nigeria. And also, they're also accusing her of refusing to cooperate. That's also one of those things. Aside being a Nigerian, I believe in the presumption of innocence. They have brought the charges. They still have to prove it. And Blessing Okagbare has always denied all of those charges. And she has requested that each of them be submitted to a hearing before the disciplinary tribunal. So I guess we'll have to wait. That's the situation for now. But we'll have to wait. We still have to give that presumption of innocence in this case, Bolu.
Well, I feel more sad for her because most of the time when these cases come out, almost all the time they're always correct. Yes, she has said no. Probably like what they said about the Oladapo for Ejima, they're like, okay, he tested positive. He said, I don't take alcohol. There are 2 different things. So probably she took something. Maybe remember Koloturi's story that I think he took his pregnancy wife tablet and there's a banned substance inside. Maybe that's what happened.
There's an honest explanation.
Exactly. But where I now think she's probably taking it too far, if true, is the fact that she's not cooperating with the
refusal to cooperate. That's
not
hard
giving
to
out
defend.
documents. You're probably putting yourself in more problems. If they want to give you a year or 2 ban, if you are not cooperating with them, they could assume you are wrong, even if you are right.
Yeah.
The only reason you can fail to cooperate is probably you've concluded that, well, they banned me, there's nothing that can happen again. But there's always something called after retirement. What happens when you retire? You will probably still need this guy. So
your legacy.
I think she should just find a way to sort it out with them. Every question they need, so long you believe you are innocent, work it out. Even if you are guilty, the only thing you can get is a ban. If the ban runs into your retirement, at least when you get back, you have enough time to get back into the sports, maybe as a coach or scout or something. So I think if I have the chance, opportunity to talk to her, I'll tell her, just cooperate with them. Whatever happens, the best you can get is if they give you a ban, time will pass. If they give you 5 years, before you blink, 5 years is gone. If they give you a year will walk by. But the more you keep delaying, the more you keep extending, the more you keep putting yourself in trouble.
All right, so
it's difficult, right? Yeah. Very difficult for Blessing Okagbare and this wrong timing. It happened at the time when we were super confident of her and her form at the Tokyo Olympics, and then again the timing, look at age, and it's so sad. And this AIU, when they're on your case, they don't stop. Aside the 2 issue of drug testing, they brought another charge of she did not return devices, laptops, this and that, and Blessing Okagbare has denied those charges and said she will, return some of this stuff. But I'm just saying it's pretty difficult. I really hope Blessing Okagbare gets out of this, as she's done everything possible she can to develop athletics in Nigeria. She's represented the country well, but it's just unfortunate this has happened. I just really pray that she gets out of this. Maybe puts herself together and tell her story someday,
All right, so hopefully that will be sorted very soon. Well, we need to go on a break right about now. When we return from that break, we will be talking about the next big thing. The next big thing is the heavyweight title fight between, of course, the champion Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. We will be talking about that when we return from this break. All right, welcome back. And of course, we're at the home stretch. And of course, we're about to talk about boxing. But before we do that, let me quickly go back to Austin. And Austin, you've always talked about football teaching us lessons. Last time I checked, before we came into the studio, UEFA Nations League, Belgium was we were 2 goals up. We checked and we discovered that Le Bleu found a way to score 3. And I don't know the score as it is now. The game has ended, actually. But France, I mean, I don't know what to say.
I know. I mean, that's the story. And I told you when we're trying to get back to sporting activity that COVID-19 has refreshed the world. So anyone that thinks it's business as usual, we'll just be stunned. Look at what happened in Spain and Italy. The Italians and their good run. You know, Spain needed to prove a point, and then they got it. So I'm not surprised anymore. You know, but there's just some things that will happen, just like what happened with Nigeria and Central African Republic today, that will just make you, you know, it will make you wonder, you ponder, you ask questions, and football will just smile because, you know, these things in our world of sports, I mean, impossible is nothing.
All right. So let's talk about the Gypsy King quickly. I'm very sure we're going to get Bolu's thoughts, but I mean, the floor is yours. You hear a lot, you see a lot about the Gypsy King. You guys said that, you know, United Kingdom is now the home of boxing. Anthony Joshua has lost his. Tyson Fury now up against a rejuvenated Deontay Wilder, who says he's going to knock him out.
But fans of boxing in the UK, they are rooting for the Gypsy King. They said he's going to bring back the pride, you know. And if you take a look at this fight here, I mean, this trilogy will really get us talking, because I've gone back to see the first fight. I watched the second fight, and then this third fight just got me thinking, like, what's it going to be like? Because Deontay Wilder has got a lot to prove. Tyson Fury needs to also confirm that he is truly the king, you know, because he's, what I would take it or leave it, he's the most feared right now in the heavyweight category, you know. So he's got the advantage. Momentum is on his side, and you know the Gypsy King, and when it comes out, look at him right there. He's losing confidence, you know, right from July before the fight was called off. Each press conference he goes to, he's dominating it. He knows the right things to say. Look, this guy is just, at the moment, with his mindset, is unstoppable. Deontay Wilder must come up with something special. He shouldn't attempt to leave it late. Like I watched the first fight, he left it late. Tyson Fury dominated till the 7th round. The first knockdown happened in the 9th. The second happened in the 12th round. It was already getting too late. So I don't know what he's going to do. Deontay Wilder also has got his own quality, and maybe Bolu can help, you know. What do you think can make the difference for Deontay Wilder?
This is what he does best. Deontay Wilder is a brawler, and he says this all the time. I need just 2 seconds. But there's a certain, they don't call Tyson Fury the Gypsy King for no reason. He's probably the most complete boxer since Lennox Lewis. He has everything. He's a brawler, he's a boxer, he's a fighter, and he's got head movements. His jaw is probably the strongest we have presently in boxing. Anything you are bringing Tyson Fury, when I keep telling people I don't want Fury AJ fight, people think because I don't want Fury to, I don't want AJ to lose, that's the thing. If there's one person that will bring the undisputed belt together, I think it's Tyson Fury. I believe he'll win the fight. Like Riley said, look at the first game. He didn't fight for like 2 years. I believe he won that fight. The second, he won convincingly. This time around, although he knows what's at stake, he wants to give his best. And let's see if Wilder can come up with his A game come Saturday.
All right, so Bolu is refusing to give it to anybody.
I think I'm giving it to Tyson Fury.
Okay. All right. That's a good place to leave it. Bolu, I want to thank you for your time on the show today. We'll do this some other time.
Always a pleasure.
All right. So that's the show for today. We do hope you've enjoyed everything we've brought to you. We'll be back here again tomorrow, take you on a trip across the money-spinning world of sports and do another post-mortem of what happened today in Lagos. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye now.
It was one of those difficult nights to talk sports, but we managed to pull it through with what the Super Eagles did in London. I'm Austin Okonakwan, and everything you do, remember, keep talking sports. Bye for now.